Hey doing everyone, welcome back. Penelope says hi. You've met Penelope if you've seen my videos. This pretty little girl, she wants to get down. She's kind of a special one in more ways than one, if you know what I mean. But so we have an election coming up. And when it looked like a rematch of the old guy versus the old guy, Statler versus Waldorf, if you will, Muppets fans ought to get that one. Statler versus Waldorf, Part 2. Well, it wasn't looking good for either one of those guys, really. It was actually looking worse for the guy that looks like, if you're familiar with the ventriloquist, Jeff Dunham. Yeah, looks like his buddy Walter. So, wasn't looking so good for Walter. But, yeah, what you call, the double haters, which they didn't really want Statler or Waldorf. Well, Biden dropped out a while back. Kamala Harris has stepped in. And some things have changed. Now, Donald Trump is out there saying, well, I'm leading in all the polls and I'm winning by a lot. And no, you're not, Don. No, you're not. Well, I've got the enthusiasm on my side and I'm not weird. They're weird. And Don, calm down, buddy. Not true. Enthusiasm is not on your side. In fact, all the double haters still hate you, dude. So, the number of double haters has been cut roughly in about half. And they're all breaking toward, not you, Donnie. They're breaking toward Kamala Harris. Somebody new, somebody fresh, somebody exciting. And, it wasn't all that long ago that I didn't see Kamala Harris as being someone I could support. She's earned my support, but I didn't think I'd ever be able to vote for her based on, what I knew about her before she was vice president. So, normally I don't have a script, I don't read from notes, none of that, right? I just don't. But I had to have some notes on this one, basically just to make sure that I've got some numbers right. The enthusiasm level in this election is now up to 68% since Kamala Harris has gotten in. Before that, it was below 50%. You know why? Statler and Waldorf. We know your old heckling routine. One guy can't talk and the other guy also can't talk. Of course, the one guy who can't talk, he's mostly honest, and the other guy is mostly a liar. But the enthusiasm among Democrats, right? Now, granted, Harris is going to get the Democrats anyway. Biden was going to get the Democrats anyway. But the enthusiasm among Democrats, right, has gone from 46% in June to 85% now. That is a 39% jump, a 39-point jump. That's big. That is big. You know, those who were not part of that 85%, good chance a lot of them would have just stayed home, but now they want to get out and vote. Cool. Independence. It's not as big a jump, but it's still pretty significant. 34% enthusiasm among independents. That was in June, 34%. And that has jumped 19 points to 53%. So, yeah. That's pretty big. And then, when you look at Harris versus Biden, 18 to 35-year-olds, Biden had 33% support. Harris has 53% support. That's a 20-point difference right there in favor of Harris. 65 and older? That's pretty close right here. I mean, actually, Harris lost a point from Biden. Biden had 52, Harris has 51. So, she's still hanging in there, though. That 1% is within the margin of error, so not worried about that. Hispanic, Black, and Asian voters. Harris has 62% support among those demographics combined. So that's good. That's good for Harris. That's not so good for Donnie. White voters with college degrees. Harris is at 57%. So, things are looking good for her. Now, this number, it might not sound as impressive as it actually is. White, non-college educated voters. White people without college degrees. That's me. I'm in this group. White people without college degrees. This is Trump's bread and butter demographic. 33% of them are going to Harris. That's a full 1/3. Hey, Donnie, whatever you're doing, keep doing it because it's not working for you. I know I would do some things differently if I were Trump, but I'm not Trump, so my advice is keep doing what you're doing because I don't want you back in that office ever. Under any circumstances, ever. I don't want you anywhere near that White House again. So, things are looking good for Harris. Now, as far as how things are going in the swing states, I don't have the numbers here in front of me. But I'm going off of memory on this. Harris, last I saw, was up by like 2.1 or 2.2% in either Minnesota or not Minnesota, excuse me, either Wisconsin or Pennsylvania, and it was reversed in the other one. And I don't, it was like 2 point something, but it was a low 2 point something. It was less than 2.5. And then she had roughly a 3%, just a little over 3% lead in Michigan. And again, that's the last time I looked. Those 3 states, she takes those three states and the election's over. Donnie has no mathematical path to win. In fact, not only does he have no mathematical path, based on where all the states are right now, she takes those 3, that's 270 on the nose. She wins. She has a very narrow, and by very narrow I mean like 0.1 or 0.2% lead in, I think, either Arizona or Nevada, and Trump has the same margin lead over her in the other. And the same is true with Georgia and North Carolina, except I know that Trump has that very narrow margin in North Carolina. I mean, I'm talking like 1 or 2 people don't show up. I mean, of course, that's an exaggeration, but 1 or 2 people don't show up. It goes the other way. So, things not looking good for Trump. Things are looking good for Harris. But let's not count on anything. The reason we have elections is so that we can go out and vote. I know how the vote's going to go where I live, but I'm still going to vote the way I'm going to vote anyway. Just in case. Just in case there's enough people out there just like me who think, well, I know how it's going to go, but I have to do something to not make it go that way if I can. So, not looking good for Trump. It is looking good for Harris. At this rate, she will be elected, but we can't count on that. Don't rest on anything. If you're inclined to get involved, get involved. If you're not inclined to get involved, well, I can't say I blame you, but at the very least, show up and vote. We'll see you next time.